Ladies and gentlemen, next on our agenda is an engaging forum on the topic of championing neurodiversity, the employer's perspective and case studies. This session will be expertly moderated by Yang Berhormat Datuk Dr. Adiba Aziz and will feature three esteemed panelists who will dive deeply into this crucial discussion. Now, without further ado, let me invite YB Datuk Dr. Adiba Radzi to the front. And while she's on her way to the front, let me introduce you to her very elaborate career. She's a very dynamic lady, right? And she has championed the rights of persons with disabilities in Malaysia. Appointed as a senator in 2020, she has been a powerful voice for education, accessibility, and employment opportunities for the disabled community. With an illustrious 36 years career in broadcasting, Adiba also made history as Malaysia's first female chairman of Bernama and is a passionate para-athlete. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please help me welcome Datuk Adiba. Thank you. On the panel, please welcome Encik Muhammad Afzanizam bin Muhammad Badrin. He is the National Project Coordinator for the International Labour Organization, Malaysia, since 2019, with over 22 years of experience across industries like construction, manufacturing and banking. Encik Afzanizam specializes in employment, skills development and social protection projects. He advocates for TVET models and gender equality. A consultant with UNDP and UNIDO, Encik Afzanizam holds a master's in economics and is pursuing a doctorate in business administration, while also being a certified data science expert and speaker at regional forum. Encik Muhammad Afzanizam, are you here? Please give him a big round of applause. Next, I'd like to invite Miss Grace Cheng. Miss Gan, are you here? Grace is the manager of Yayasan Gamuda and Academy. Yes, please give her a big applause. She holds a master's in human services, rehabilitation, counseling, and a bachelor's in psychological science. Grace has over 10 years of experience as a job coach, and she leads the Employment Transition Program, helping neurodivergent trainees secure sustainable employment. As a senior job coach trainer, Grace has contributed to Malaysia's National Occupational Skills Standard and is working to expand employment transition centres nationwide, fostering greater inclusion in workforce. Next in the panel is Miss Florence Tan. Miss Florence has been at the forefront. She has been the forefront in corporate sustainability, inclusion and diversity and well-being at the PwC Malaysia since launching the firm's first corporate sustainability program in 2028. She has 15 years of experience and she has led initiatives that has earned the firm multiple accolades, including recognition for best workplace practices and diversity, including inclusion reporting. She has been a key advocate for neurodiverse hiring, and under her leadership, PricewaterhouseCoopers Malaysia has successfully employed several neurodiverse individuals, fostering an inclusive work environment. Now, I'd like to pass the mic and the whole show to Datuk Adiba.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good morning. Thank you so much for the introduction. For a while, I thought you were speaking about somebody else when you spelled my father's name, but that's good. Thank you for having me, and it's a privilege to have the three of you with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's still very early in the morning for a lot of us, so if it's okay, I would like to invite everyone to kindly stand up and we do a bit of breathing, because having to take in a lot of information very early in the day can be a bit daunting. So Dr. Adela, it's good to see you. Datuk, thank you for inviting me, everybody. It's so good to see you. So many familiar faces, and thank you for coming from Singapore to share. So let's do this. We're gonna inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, before we sit down, I just want to say thank you for doing what you do. But first, I'd like to also remind you that all the things that we do, people don't thank us enough, right? So I would like to have all of you to put both your hands and just hug your arm tightly, okay? And close your eyes and just follow me, okay? You just say, sayang. Sayang, sayang, sayang tak? Mestilah sayang. Sayang. Do you love me? Do you love me? Of course I do. I love you so much. And thank you for doing what you do. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. You just thank yourself. Now, you know what? In this field that we are in, we always put everyone first. All the time, all of us. All of us in this room, we put everyone first and we forget about ourselves. So sometimes it's good that we take a break and say, hey, you know what? Thank you, and I appreciate you, and I love you, because it's very important. So thank you. Terima kasih on behalf of my community to all of you. What Dr. Amar said this morning, he said, in order for us to empower the disabled, the able-bodied must also come together and lift each other up, because eventually everyone in this room will be disabled someday. I say that when I'm in the upper house and all my other senators look at me and like, oh my God, you don't have to remind us. But it's true. It's a process. So while we're at it, we have to enjoy it. So thank you to all of you for making the time this morning. We're going to be discussing about some of the stuffs that my community and I went through. One of the things that I just want to share with you before we go seriously into our topic is actually when I became disabled in 2002. For 6 years I did not have a job, not because I was not good in what I do, because I've been in broadcast since I was 18 in 1986. So they didn't want to give me a job because they don't know how to support someone who is disabled. They are not used to having a presenter or a newscaster who is a wheelchair user. I keep telling them I haven't lost my marbles yet. I can still speak. After all, we're sitting on a chair, yes? But they were not ready. I am not making excuses for people, but I'm just saying the most important thing for us to do is to make people understand. Because if people don't understand, then it's difficult for them to know what, for us, the disabled fraternity is able of. So this is the thing. So that 6 years, when I didn't have a job, I was surviving on eating rice with salt and drinking tap water for 6 years. So tell me, what did we do? Where did we go wrong? I was among my many friends out there who actually fell in between the cracks. So ladies and gentlemen, what we are here today, the whole day, discussing, and the days to come, is to see how best we make sure that no one gets left behind. Like I said, eventually each and every one of us will become disabled. So if it's okay, I would like to go straight into why we are discussing about the importance of neurodiversity. We have to understand and we have to accept that everyone will become disabled, and we have to accept the ones who are already disabled. We have to value unique strengths of persons with disabilities, because I keep telling myself and my friends that our disability is actually our ability. And we have to have inclusivity in workplace. We have to, always educate ourselves, and also doing awareness campaigns amongst ourselves and the people out there, and empowerment advocacy. We need community support and interdisciplinary collaboration. So that is why we are here today, because we want to see how best we can support the community. In 2030, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia is an aging population. Okay, 15% under WHO are persons with disability. That means there's 34 million of our population, that means 5.1 million of different people who are disabled. September 2024, the data under the Welfare Department, it says that 740,000 persons with disabilities have registered. Where's the rest of us? Supposed to be 5.1 million. Guess what? We're out there because you know why? Able-bodied are not able to accept us. Able-bodied are not able to see our potential, and able-bodied are not willing to open their hearts and mind to realize that this can happen to anyone in a split second. So without further ado, I'd like to ask straight away, Encik Muhammad Afzanizam, perhaps you can share with us on your thoughts on our subject today. Silakan.
Thank you. Yang berbahagia Datuk. Assalamualaikum. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go to the explain about the topic itself, let me explain where I'm coming from. I can call me Nizam, in short. I'm the National Project Coordinator with the ILO. And the ILO, International Labour Organization, is the oldest UN, United Nations specialized agency. And we have a very small office in Malaysia. We are looking into the labour matters, whereby taking of these diversity and inclusion into the equation of employment and social protection. So this is what we are currently doing in Malaysia. With regards to the topic itself, if I can provide some overview of the global statistics, about 1.1 billion of Malaysia the global population are the disabled person. It makes up about 15% of the world population, and we understand that about 1 in 5 people have some sort of neurominority status. But I would like to go through to the issue of employment itself. When we talk about diversity and inclusion, most of the case we are looking at the gender issue, ethnicity, as well as physical issues, and not much on the diversity yet. But currently, there is a movement towards ESG and so forth. Previously, it's more like a CSR based, and currently it's more like a regulation based, which is ESG. It's currently promoted with regards to diversity and inclusion into workplace. But unfortunately, the current scheme, if you're talking about the Malaysia context, about more than 90% of our businesses are SMEs. And of course, these SMEs do have some lack of resources and capacity with regards to understand the PWDs, as well as to in hiring the PWDs. This is where that we can see there's a very sincere and commitment and efforts made by the CSO to support the employment of PWDs. When I'm talking about PWDs, because at the IO level, we are talking a whole spectrum of disability. This also includes the neurodivergent person. Today, why we are here is actually, we understand that we have put some efforts, but the matter is actually how we want to go further on that. As you mentioned, Datuk, we started about return to work program in 2017, and I think that the issues of disability at the workplace, it's It happened a very long time ago. And 2007, we start to realize there is a more structured program to make sure employees or workers who are previously have difficulties to after they facing severity in their employment in terms of physical injuries, to go back to be more productive to the career. And then 2017 start to see there is a sort of like intervention. But I think like for PWDs in the employment itself, after a long time journey, and we are yet to see significant result on this. As Datuk Amma mentioned about 0.3%, if I'm not mistaken, out of quota that targeted by the public sector. Now they still have a very large room for PWDs to be part of the labor force, especially women. Yeah. This is not being discussed at the more seriously at the national level, and the initiative at the PCB, if I can say that, we have to look into how our current efforts can be uplifted and try to strategize in accordance to the national initiative. Just a brief about what IO currently doing. The IO do have a joint project with UNDP to look into improving access of PWD to open employment, because all this while we are looking at those PWDs get assisted to the sheltered employment, and we understand that more PWDs are being not getting equal opportunity when we talk about open employment. That's one. Secondly is talking about the social protection, whereby most of the PWDs are receiving assistance. But we are looking at PWD in a more productive way, whereby they can also self-employ. They can also work in informal sector. There's also some PWDs that attain their tertiary education. But what we found is actually the unemployment rate of PWDs, especially with the tertiary education, is double than the non-disabled graduates. This is quite worrying, because there is opportunity for you to go to the higher level of education, but yet the employability part is still an issue. So where is where we should start? Are we looking at the from the employer point of view? What are the role of civil society to be more engaged and to be more impactful, link up with the employers? From ILO itself, we are encouraging more dialogue, social dialogue, to improve our industrial harmony with regards to the role of ministry, the role of employers, organization, as well as the workers' union. Because this is what we found that it is very meaningful if this social dialogue keeps continue and provide impact at the national level. Thank you.
We have two of them working in the PWC at the moment. Yes, so basically what we are doing is to continue to guide other employers to know that we run this workshop for all the PTKs that is involved in providing employment opportunities for the person with disabilities that is in the PTK. So we are running with them. Now we are looking into follow-up workshop. And that's the reason that we also produce the trainer's manual that's introduced by Datuk Amma Singh this morning. The manual is available for free for everyone to download. It's available in 3 languages, Malay, Chinese, and English. So we hope that that will be a resource for everyone to use, that you can just customize accordingly that suits your target group. Yes.
Grace, may I ask you, what are some of the challenges that you face with employers? You know, when you say, hey, you know what, we have 20 individuals, you know, and they're very skilled and in all the different sectors. What are the challenges that you face? Are they open to it, or do you still sometimes see a bit of discrimination because they don't understand? How is that?
So maybe I will share from two angles. One is from Gamuda angle. When we first started this initiative, of course we need to get buy-in from department who is willing to hire. So I think what our group managing director did well is that he formed a task force that actually they volunteered to be part of this initiative because they really have a passion in it, they really trust in this. And then after that, we get the hiring manager, the one that is decision maker, to be part of the guardians. So they are like the guardians that will make sure that this initiative will work. We start with their department first. So when the success stories, the business case has developed, that actually help to convince other departments to open up. I think usually the key challenge, the concern is always we do not have the capacity to support and we do not know how to support. Again, it's back to the awareness because a lot of them, they have not met people with autism before. And I think there is 7 categories of disabilities in Malaysia, and people with autism, ADHD, dyslexia, they fall under the hidden, the invisible disability that a lot of people are not aware of. So perhaps they are also relying on their existing perception of people with autism or ADHD based on one experience that not everyone is the same. So just to share with you a scenario that one of the companies that we work with for Enabling Academy context, we have, just for your information, we have trained 134 graduates with neurodivergent graduates, and we work with more than 60 partner companies. So one of the companies, when they first started, they are very passionate, not through us, but it's their own initiative. But because they have started so passionate and working with others, so they have sent in first cohort into the company. But because there's no proper screening process and support, so the whole workforce, they have a phobia and traumatized because they thought it's like all neurodivergent individuals are as such. So it kind of closed the door for them to continue the hiring process again. So there's a lot of challenges that we see that management are very supportive, but the ground people, they may not be ready yet. So it's a matter of whether the management, when they want to set certain quota, are they able to come up with the enabling framework that actually help the people on the ground, those who implement it, to really put it into action? Because we do observe a lot that they feel so stressful and really burn out when they are actually at the front doing. There's not enough support given to them. Yes.
Thank you, Grace. That's very, very true. I actually have met some companies. They came up to me and they say, you know what, we are in trouble. And I said, why are you in trouble? They said, because we didn't train our workforce enough about the PWDs that's joining them. So these guys in the workforce like bully some of the OKUs that join, one, and then when they bully, they make fun, they literally like physically do it, or they verbally scold the OKUs and stuff like that, and they don't understand. So it's very important in Exam as well that we do disability equality training as well, because otherwise the top management says, yes, let's do this, let's give them the opportunity, but then the ones on the ground say, yeah, but they're slow, and they're always sick, and then they're always in pain. I'm like, yeah, I'm in pain every single second. When I open my mouth, open and close my eyes, I'm in pain every single second. But hey, you know what? I'm still here. That's why I always tell all my PWD friends, you got to get up, you got to dress up, you got to show up. Because if not, people don't know about you, people don't know how to work with you. So that's why it's also very important that in a company, we do training for the staff, the workforce, to understand how to support this new breed of team members in the company. So having said that, Grace, if I may, I'd like to go to Florence. How do you empower the PWDs in Pricewaterhouse? Pricewaterhouse.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to Kiwanis for having me, and honored to be on a panel with these esteemed panelists. Maybe I just share a story about how we came to be and how we came on this journey, just a bit of a context and background. So PwC, if you do not know, is a professional services firm. We offer audit, tax, and consulting services. So there is a PwC network, and 2 years ago, the global network stated that disability inclusion will be a priority. There are certain PwC network firms who do very well in this area, like Japan, China, because they've got quota in their countries. But for Malaysia, we haven't started at all. And now, to know that my CEO has got a KPI on his KPI sheet, like, you need to do disability inclusion, we all panic. Like, oh my God, where do we start? Okay, so then, deep breaths, don't panic. Then we started to kind of talk to people. And we landed on this gem of a person, Nadia. She is the president of Malaysia Rare Diseases Society. She's been so helpful. She gave us tuition, Me and the team, there's 5 of us in the corporate sustainability and diversity and inclusion team on how we can start, who we can talk to. The other thing that we did is that we decided that we need to hire someone who is on the autism spectrum, because we already had colleagues in the firm who have a physical disability, and many of them who serve longer than me, and I've been with PwC for 20 years, so you can imagine. And many of our PwD colleagues do stay with the firm for a long period of time. So me and the team, we've got the bosses okay, say that we wanted to have an intern first, low risk, let's try this out kind of thing. And we did get this person, his name is Cheng, and we worked with Grace to do that. And I must say, NMD Academy has been instrumental in making sure that me and the team were supported. We know how to support Cheng. They gave us training, they gave the wider team training about working with people on autism spectrum. And Dr. Amar said something about job coach earlier. I must say that that's super important as well, because then I was able to ask questions around how do I give feedback, how do I design this role to fit Cheng's capabilities, and so on. So, and thank heavens it was such a great experience. And we thought like Cheng was so good at what he did, so I actively went around the firm and asked everybody, hey, do you need someone? And then we found her a job for Cheng in the finance team. So he's been with us for I think almost 2 years now. I'm so glad it's worked out for him. So the other things that we did was to make sure that our HR team is trained, inclusive hiring, how do we onboard them, how do we support them. So we have done two trainings already, one with Nadia on the wider PWD training, and one with Grace specifically for neurodiverse individuals. We've done an access audit, but when we moved into the current building, it's been 14 years now. At that point in time when we moved, universal design wasn't a thing. So we asked Dr. Naziati, I think some of you might know her. Yeah, so she did our access audit. I learned so much. I learned a couple of things, also discover my privilege. I don't think about some things when I go to events or buildings. But even when we move, we will make sure that our next place will be one that is universally designed. We're working with EA and Prokeso to look at hiring. Another thing that we do, and I hope other employers do, is also onboard vendors. We've onboarded vendors like Silent Pennies, Infinite Minds, who else? They mentioned standby. Yeah. So a few people who employ and upskill people with disabilities, and then encourage all people to buy from them for all their staff events. Yeah, so we do that. We have 18 vendors who are in the social impact space, not necessarily people with disabilities, but B40 communities and enterprises owned by women. A couple of things else. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget stuff. A few other things that we've been trying to do well is awareness. I think a few other people mentioned as well. I think it's important to kind of change and have a different perspective as to the capabilities of people with disability, and not just see them as a charity that you throw money at and then you forget about them, right? So we're just trying to do this better, and I see the results already. Just last week, no, I don't know if this week, sorry, the weeks are like kind of merging into each one another. So this week, someone has come up to me, sharing that she's got 2 hidden disabilities and she would like to discuss about support for herself. So I think someone mentioned, I think Desiree mentioned about self-advocacy. So I just wanted to say that this is so important for you to kind of step up and also say, talk to us about the support that you need. We also are trying to do better on data. So through awareness also, we want to create a space or environment that are people who feel comfortable and not judge and not threatened when they come up and say, I have a disability. So it's work in progress. We're not there yet, but I aspire to be one day that people feel comfortable saying that I have a disability. So in the recent Global People Survey, for the very first time, we had a question on self-declaring that I have a disability. We had 1.8% of our people say that they have a disability. So it's like, yes, I'm going to achieve and surpass, but I only know of 14 people. So I think we have a lot of ways to go as well to understand like who are the rest and how we can support them better at work. So that's where we are at. We're still on the journey. By no means we are experts in this field, still learning, and maybe also catch me after this if you want to collaborate and see how we can move this forward for the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to check, like when you say that you have staff and I have disabilities and stuff like that, right? How did that come about when they came up to you? Because one of the things that we always encounter is that they go like, wait, go okay you. Oh my God, you're disabled. What disability? Oh my God. And then they're like, they want to be friends with us. My friends say, God, they don't want to be friends with me because they know I'm autistic, and then they know I'm mental. That's the other category. When they find out that you are you're a PWD who's on the mental category, they're like, oh, I have to stay with you, man. You're gonna do something back to me. I'm like, dude, the person who's not disabled who can do anything to you. Like, come on, can you just chill? So when you have staff coming up, how did that happen? I mean, did you do a flyer and tell everybody, hey guys, if you're disabled, you gotta tell us? Or how did that because I'm sure people here wants to know how do you open up and tell them it's okay not to be okay?
Yeah, that phrase actually I used when I was doing well-being, and we're just telling people that it's okay not to be okay. Go and call a counselor, use our EAP program. Yeah, so anyway, just but then I get your question. I also don't know at this point how this person came up to us and said I needed support. Maybe it was through all the awareness programs that we did around supporting people with disability, around employing people with disability, and so maybe this person felt that, okay, I can go up to Florence and say I have this disability and I need help for it. Yeah, so it's just one person. I hope to do more in this space. And then another thing around what you said around role models. So something that I feel that we can do a lot better is that to kind of encourage people at PwC, for instance, who are successful, who are kind of very senior roles, come up to say that I have a disability and I'm successful at PwC. I haven't gone to that level yet, but it's something that I aspire to, and I've given feedback to the global team that we should feature people who are very senior, very successful in their fields or their role, to come out and say that I have a disability, and I think it would encourage others to say that, yeah, I see myself in them. I see that I can also be successful. Yeah, so that's something that I feel that we can do better in.
Thank you, Florence. Guys, it's only lately that we know that you're probably dyslexic or autistic. You know what? Probably 80% of us in this room are one of those. But during our time, got all these tests, all this assessment, So I think we just have to be kind to one another, don't you think? we just have to be kind and open our hearts and see everyone as they are, disabled or non-disabled. You know what I mean? So, Cik Izzah, I just want to ask you. Just now I chatted a bit about someone who is on the mental category, because now after the pandemic we have tons of people who are physical and suddenly they also have autism, or they're deaf and suddenly they have another additional disability which is mental. So how does that work when we are taking them in the workforce, you reckon?
Yeah, thank you, Datuk. With regards to disability is a new kid in the diversity block, right? So very less that understand about this issue, and of course they are actually based on the stigma. That's their reality as of today. But I think there's a lot of resources in terms of published resources, as well as from the individuals that they can tap to understand further with regards to the situation. Secondly, it's actually on the disclosure of the disability. I think this is where I think an employer or the HR practitioner should look at this and how the potential workers with difficulties or disabilities, to disclose at what level it can be disclosed to the potential employer, and how the receptiveness of the employer towards that. That's one. Those that currently working also do have some like mental health issues and so forth, and how these can be a dialogue between the employer and as well as the employees, the affected employees. I think one of the kind of missing link here, as we listen to the earlier speaker, is on the retention part, because of there is what are the platform if there is a discrimination issue, and how this dispute can be managed. So this is something that maybe you can learn from our employer as well. But I think is there any kind of mechanism to look into the managing dispute when it happened? Because at the beginning, during the recruitment phase, most of the PWDs are being facilitated by the caregivers. In terms of their labor rights, they have a lack of understanding on that. And then once they enter into the employment, who are the person that can guide them with regards to their rights? Now, can they work in a flexible manner? Is it like 8 to 5 is the mandatory working time for them? How long they can take an MC to get a medical treatment? So this kind of their understanding towards labor rights that need to be enhanced, and I think something that can be done on that as well.
Is one of the things that that's been discussed about PWDs in the workforce is that they get discriminated even though their qualifications is high and even though they have experience, and they don't get the perks, and the salary is not like an able-bodied who has the same qualification with them, even though their qualification is higher. So how does that work? Internationally, that is not right at all. I mean, let's not just talk about Malaysia, but you're discriminating somebody just because you're disabled and your salary is half. Why? Because you're deaf, huh? But I can see your salary is half. Why? Because you're mental or you're physical. Because you need to use the toilet and then you need to use you have parking space, so you charge me for that, is it? So how do you guys handle something like that?
With regards to the wage inequality, we monitor from the tracer study done by the Ministry of Higher Education on the PWDs who attain for the tertiary education, and we found that 49% of these graduates, PWD graduates, receive below than 2,000. They are graduates, but they receive below than 2,000, 49%. 18% below 1,500, if I'm mistaken, and the other 18% is below 3,000. It's just slightly higher than the minimum wage, but still it is very, there is a wage inequalities. Now all this while we are discussing about the gender inequalities with regards to labor force participation and wages. So I think there's a less discourse on wage inequalities with regard to PWDs. And usually PWDs are being stereotyped with certain occupations.
Telephonists,
at the elementary level. But we can understand, if I look at the My Future Jobs portal, there's a lot of potential of PWDs to also participate in the high-skilled jobs. It's about 4,000 vacancies, if I'm not mistaken. This is what we observe.
Yeah, but you know what? They don't take us.
I think
I'm sorry lah. I mean, it's great that that we're doing all this effort, right? But the company's like, no need lah. Okay, you don't need lah. So that attitude has to change. Yes.
For the employer, I think what they should do is actually to get also assistance, especially from inclusive provider, to help them, like PwC, Gamuda, that take their own initiative to look into this further. And as what Florence said with regards to the embed disability mainstreaming in the procurement process, whereby the best practices at the organization can be cascaded or disseminated to the SMEs or the suppliers within your ecosystem. I think that's also a good practice for at the corporate level.
Thank you, Cheng. So, okay, before I go to Grace and also to Florence, I know there's supposed to be questions, but I think I've been asking all the questions already. So, Grace, I just want to ask you, right, when people take the individuals that you've trained, right, do they ask you, hey, how much I want to pay there? They ask you, again, and I slap their face lah, because they're skilled already, you get what I mean? And macam Cik Izam cakap tadi, well, yeah, they're underpaid. It's like, I'm sorry lah, I have to be very honest with you, okay guys? I'm a PWD, I can tell you, my friends out there, what they face is satu discrimination. Inequality tu jangan cerita lah. Okay, when it comes to salary, even though they have the experience, even though that they have apa orang kata that, all the things that you need lah for that particular job, they said we only pay you 2,000 ringgit, where their friends are getting 6,000 because you're disabled. And you think what, we're an animal, is it? Even animals get nice food lah. So how do you handle when somebody say, hey, how much to pay them?
I think so far we have been, of course we do have employer who will ask us that usually how is their salary package and employment package like, okay, for those that we have placed out. Of course our response for them, because we serve as an advocate for our graduates, our trainees, so we always tell them they will be having the same employment package as the rest based on what kind of position that I offer, their grade, their experience, their qualification. So based on how your company has been paying the rest from the same level. So all companies so far, they have been able to comply what we have mentioned, and proud to say that actually a lot of our graduates, they are earning even above the neurotypicals.
So Florence, when you take in a PWD, all your companies, yeah, across the world, okay. You guys don't judge, yes? Sorry, you guys don't judge, yes? You look at them and see their potential, yes? Yeah, because some companies, I know they're like, not sure, and I'm like, dude, if you're not sure, dude, don't take. Not sure, you get me? So how do you manage the perception of like the leaders of each of units?
Very good question.
Yeah.
And I just want to assure you that WC we pay them universally ranking, and then they are paid equally lah. And I realize,
thank you so much.
Yeah, because I scared.
And I
yeah. Just want to make that clear. Okay, but your question is perception of the teams, right? Of course, there are some groups of people who are supportive and see their potential, and there are some groups that are still question. I think that's normal. We're still on a journey to kind of have everybody accept and see that they are truly people that are capable. Right, I just want to share this story. I had a conversation with the coaches of these two neurodiverse individuals that we had, because I want to have this conversation before our evaluation time when we're discussing about their performance. And so I'm preparing like 6 months ahead and making sure that, okay, are we sure about the targets and KPIs? Can they do their job? Can we go in with confidence into this discussion and say that yes, they have contributed, and we're able to reward them accordingly? So we had that conversation, and I'm glad to say that the coaches of these neurodiverse colleagues, they're like, yeah, I believe in them. They're very capable, very. I can see their potential. So for Heng's coach, he actually during the first review period backed up Heng's performance with a lot of data and saying that Heng is outperforming his peers. But there are a few others who say that, but he don't do A to H, for instance, like everybody else. He only does A to T because he's good at this and he can't do the rest. It's fair, right? We want to make sure that if he's paid as much as the rest, he does as much, so that it is fair, correct? So I can see the merits in that argument. And so we're trying to see about like within the A to D range that we can do, can we demonstrate that he's done 200% of that? More than like, okay, so A to D, but then he's done double of what a normal person, sorry, not normal person, neurotypical person, able-bodied people can do. So we are trying to approach it in that manner and seeing how we can also make sure that they are recognized for their work and therefore they will stay, and also see how we can also expand on their beyond the ADD, can they take on more in future as a matter of progression kind of thing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm so pleased to listen from the three of you, your feedback and your thoughts and your sharing and your experiences as well. This will, make us understand a lot more on how best to support the PWD community out there. And like I said, look at us in the eye, look at them, us, and say, "You're good? Sure, thank you. Do you have a problem? Let's work on it." Because even the able-bodied, they have problems too. No one is perfect, but lifting each other up and empowering one another is the way to go. And like, what we say, it's okay not to be okay. Everybody is not okay out there right now. And I always say, you know what? If you see someone who's smiling and giggling and happy, that one you have to watch. Most of the time, they're having problems, and they're not even okay you. So maybe they have other needs. They need some extra support. So we mustn't judge and just be there for one another and say, "Are you okay?" And never say, "Yeah, I understand." You don't understand. We never understand. Each of everyone's experiences or problems are different and varies. So yes, with the three of them and all of you together in this hall, our country, and of course Southeast Asia can be a much better place for persons with disabilities. Our disability is not something that is the one that's bringing us down. The one that's bringing us down is actually the people out there. It's not accessible. People's mindset is not there, and we're discriminating. So the best thing is for us to sit down, breathe, and say, "Hey, you know what? I gotta try and put myself in that person's shoe. Because maybe someday I would have to experience something like that." Betul tak? You don't know. And another disability, guys, is actually people who have rare disease. Like when you speak to Nadia, she will tell you. Rare disease, sometimes their heart is not inside, it's outside. They move around, their bones will crack. like maybe like a few hundred pieces of it, So yeah, we have to look at one another and say, that's cool. Yeah, I'm here with you. I got you. That's what we have to tell them. I got you. You guys have to say that, I got you, kid. Don't worry, I got you. It is so alone when you're disabled. So alone. But when I and my friends know that all of you care and all of you make time to listen and to be there with us, to guide us, and maybe we guide you too, to understand us even better, then the world is a much better place. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody. For being here. God bless you. Thank you, Kiwanis. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, our moderator, Datuk Adiba, and our panelists.